We got Congressman Jim Jordan with us now, a little bit delayed because of voting. Congressman, I don't know if you've seen this news yet, but I was giving you praise earlier for being involved in helping to fight censorship. Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos reportedly attending the inauguration and sitting together for Trump on Monday. Have you heard that? What's your thoughts with
Yeah,
that? Would you have ever
you
believed
got
it?
it. No one would have believed it. You got to love this country. But you said this in an interview I caught a week or so ago. By the way, I apologize for being late, but it was actually a vote to keep men out of women's sports on the floor, and I did not want to miss that.
What was the result of that
vote.
vote, by the way?
Well, it's going on as we speak. I just voted, but we're going to win this thing, and hopefully we're going to get some Democrats, like we did with the Lake and Riley Act last week, who've seen the light after November 5th and vote the right way. But yeah, who would have predicted, a few years ago that Donald Trump, RFK Jr., Elon Musk, and Tulsi Gabbard would be on the same team? Who would predict that those three people you just described from the big tech world would be giving money to the Trump inauguration in there? I mean, you just go on. Who would have predicted Mark Zuckerberg would write me a letter saying the Biden administration pressured us to censor? We did it. We're sorry. We won't do it again. I mean, it's unbelievable, but it's because so many of us, starting with Elon, President Trump, but when you testified, Clay, a couple of years ago, knocked it out of the park in front of the committee talking about this. A bunch of us just dug into this and said, we cannot have this censorship because if you lose the right to debate, to have free and fair and open debate, you lose the First Amendment, you lose Western civilization. And so it is great to see the turnaround that has taken place here in the past couple of years.
How do you think our friend Pete Hegseth's doing on Capitol Hill so far in his quest to get through in the Senate? And, I know you're not voting on this, but you know how your colleagues on the other side of Congress are probably feeling about things these days. And what do you think about the rest of the Trump, the top tier of Trump nominees? Do you foresee any real challenges to get any of them through?
Buck, I think they're all going to make it. And I just caught bits and pieces of Pete for that meetings and different things I was working on. But I was clicking in every once in a while. He seemed confident. He seemed poised. And I just thought he did a tremendous job. What little I was able to catch while I was on in the office. But I think Pam's going to make it. I think Todd Blanchard's going to make it. I think Kash Patel's going to. I think Tulsi's going to make it. And I certainly hope Tulsi and RFK, all of them, will make it because they're with us on censorship. They're with us on the First Amendment. They're with us on the FISA and the reform that needs to happen to the FISA law. So I feel good, frankly, about all of them. Not only the job they're going to do, but the fact that they're going to get confirmed by the United States Senate.
We're talking to Congressman Jim Jordan. How optimistic are you Ohio State's going to win on Monday?
I'm pretty darn optimistic. I mean, they look tough, and I don't pretend to be a football expert. Although I always wanted to play middle linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think we talked about before. But when you're my size, you had to wrestle. But yeah, I think they've looked just tremendous. I think they're going to win. But you got to love Freeman. You got to love what he's done at Notre Dame, and he's an Ohio guy too. So in some ways, it's going to be a great day for Ohio. J.D. Vance going to be vice president.
Do you think he's going to go to both?
Freeman,
by the way, have you talked to him about whether he's going to try to do the inauguration and then hop on a plane to go watch the game? I haven't heard the latest details. Do you think he might try that? I know he tweeted about it.
I think it would be great. He walks into the state. I think it would be. I mean, I don't know if he will. And there's a bunch of executive orders the president's going to sign that day. A bunch of stuff that gets done. And JD obviously is a part of all that too. But I love for him to do it. I think it'd be great.
Congressman Jim Jordan with us now. Congressman, do you feel like the free speech shift from Zuckerberg and some of these others is a little opportunistic, or do you think that they really have seen the light here to the degree that you can parse that out?
Well, I always see the glass half full, and so I tend to think it's more the latter. I really do. I'm actually going to meet with Mr. Zuckerberg next week when he's in town for the inauguration. But I feel good about it, and all this really started for me. I had a meeting with Elon Musk about 2 years ago in then Speaker McCarthy's office. It was the three of us talking, and I still remember him. And this is right when he bought Twitter. All this stuff's coming out, and I could just tell he for sure definitely believes in the First Amendment. And I think, Mark Andreessen and out there, we talked with him. I think he understands the importance of the First Amendment. So I'd like to think it's genuine. Now, look, I get it. They see what happened on November 5th. They see the House, the Senate, and the White House all now in Republican hands. So either way, it's good for the country. But I tend to maybe it's hope, maybe it's just the optimism that I think so many Americans have. I tend to think it's genuine.
Jim, do you think we're going to see one huge, I think it's being called a big, beautiful bill that would roll the border issues as well as the tax bill and everything else that's trying to be passed? Do you think that's going to be one bill? Do you have, or does the House have a strong opinion on that so far as you can read, Speaker Mike Johnson? And what's the time frame on something like that if it's truly one big bill? How long does it take to pass?
Well, I mean, the sooner the better. And I'm actually sort of one or two. I see pros and cons to both. What I want to do is, I say this all the time, I think we make the job too complicated. What do we tell the voters we're going to do? If you get elected, go do what you said. So whether that's a two-bill strategy or one-bill strategy, let's just do what we said, what they elected us to do. I think there's people in the House on both sides. The Senate leans more towards the two-bill strategy. I think probably slightly more House members lean toward a one-bill strategy. The president's indicated that was his preference. But I think he, too, just wants to do – we got to deal with the border. We got to deal with energy policy. We got to make sure the tax cuts don't expire and that people's tax liability doesn't go up so that we can get our economy growing. So we got to do all those things. The timeline is as quick as possible. Frankly, hopefully by Easter is some of the projections that we're hearing from leadership. So let's just get done what we said we would do. Whether it's one or two, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
One last question for you. You've known Trump for a long time. You were one of his most zealous defenders. What do you think the biggest difference between Trump 1.0 administration and Trump 2.0 administration is going to be?
Well, he knows who to trust in town. You just look at who he nominated back in 16 and 17 after that election for key positions. Much more establishment, type of folks versus the people he selected for running these key agencies now. I think that is a huge difference, and I think he understands that. This is now legacy. This is now history. He's talking about things. One of the things I love so much, he will mention things that no one else will mention. When he first ran in 16, he talked about building the wall, and everyone's like, oh, can you really talk about that? Yes, you can, and it was the right move. And then last week at that press conference when he's talking about the Panama Canal and Greenland, people are like, well, but that is President Trump. He is focused on one thing, making America great again, doing what he told the people he was going to do who elected him in this landslide on November 5th. And he knows the kind of people he needs in agencies to get that done. And that's why he's picking good people like Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, Todd Blanche. I mean, people who are going to run these agencies the way they need to be run.
Jim
Jim
see
Jordan
you this weekend.
Again.
Thank you for the time. Good work on Capitol Hill there. That's Jim Jordan. Yeah. We will definitely see him up, I would imagine, this weekend, Buck. You and I are both getting to D.C. on Friday, and we're going to be busy, and we're going to need a lot of energy. And thankfully, we're young enough to still have good testosterone, but everybody out there could use a little bit more. That's what Chalk's Male Vitality Stack does. In just 3 months' time, it can replenish your testosterone by up to 20% and help maximize your potential in 2025. You can use my name, Clay, as the promo code to get a massive discount on any subscription for life. And if you haven't checked this out, they have male and female vitality stacks, all natural. Just you can take it, and it will help to provide more energy, vigor, vitality for you. All you have to do is go to chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. My name, Clay, for the best possible discount on any subscription for life. You can cancel at any time, but why would you? More testosterone, more energy, men and women. Why not try it out as part of 2025? Make your resolution to have more energy with Chalk, CHOQ.com. Use my name, Clay, when you make your purchase.